Hello students. Today we are going to start the first chapter, that is exception handling. So before starting with exception, let us discuss some of the topics from first year syllabus, that is different types of errors. So what is error? So when you write a program, it can be a C++ program, it can be a Java program, or it can be a Python program. You make mistakes, right? So you may not use capital letter, instead of that you use small letter. Okay, you miss a semicolon, colon, you miss a bracket, or sometimes you make some logical mistakes. Sometimes your program is correct. I mean, you might feel program is perfectly all right, but when you run the program, you get mistakes or errors. So all these mistakes are called as errors in programming. So let us see the textbook definition of error. What is error? Error refers to issue or defects that arise within the program. So it results in malfunction or incorrect result. So any mistakes or defects in the program that will not give you the correct output is called as error. Let's see what are the different types of errors. So we have syntax error, logical error, and runtime error. Now we will discuss these errors one by one. First, let's start with syntax error. So before going to the textbook definition, let me take an example and explain it. Okay, I want to display something on the screen. So which command are we using in Python programming language? So we use actually print statement, right? So using print statement, I'm going to print hello. So hello is the output, right? Now I'm going to make some mistake. Yeah. So we know that hello is a string. It should be enclosed within quotation marks, but I have used only starting quotation marks. I have not entered it with quotation marks, right? So let me just press enter. It shows syntax error, right? The same code. I just copy this code, copy this, and paste it in script mode. I save it and run it. Now it shows the error in the dialog box. So what is the error? It shows error properly here. Unterminated string literal detected at line 1. There is only one line, that is line 1. Unterminated string literal means the string literal hello is started with a double quotation, but it is not terminated with a double quotation mark. So let me explain another example. I just write a is equal to input. Okay, run the code. Look at this. It shows the syntax error as well. What is the syntax error it is showing? Opening parenthesis was never closed. So we are starting an opening parenthesis, but it is not closed. Okay. Now let's go to the textbook definition. Syntax is the rule of the particular programming language. So we know that when we write a program, we have to follow some rules. Each and every programming language has its own rules. So we have to follow that while writing the program. Such rules and regulations are called as syntax of that particular programming language. To print anything on the screen, we are using print statement in Python. But in C++, we use cout. Same as that, every block in Python programming language should start with colon. Okay. So if you don't follow such rules, it will show error. Syntax errors are detected when the rule of particular programs are not followed. They are also known as parsing errors. So what is parsing? So when you run the program, before you get the output, the interpreter or compiler. So in case of Python, it is interpreter. In case of C++, it is compiler. It will go through the code to find out the mistakes in the program, So that process is called as parsing. So these syntax errors are found during parsing stage. So that syntax errors are also called as parsing errors. When a syntax error is detected, the interpreter stops executing the program. Just imagine there are hundreds of lines of code in Python. So the interpreter will read the first line. If it is perfect, it will go for next line. If that is also perfect, it will show the output, go for next line. Show the output, go for next line. When it finds a line, for example, if 10th line of the code has an error, so the interpreter will stop executing there, it will show the error. It won't go for the 11th line. The programmer needs to rectify the syntax error and return the program. If there is any error in the 5th line, the programmer has to rectify that error, then only the 6th line can be interpreted or executed. In this slide, what example is given? N1 is given the value 10 and it checks whether N1 is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, it should print positive number. So you know what is the syntax of print statement, right? So it misses the parenthesis. So it shows syntax error, missing parenthesis in call to print. What we should understand, there are different versions of Python, Python 2, Python 3. Okay, there are subversions also. So in different versions, Python shows error in different way. If you're not getting the same error, you shouldn't get confused. You can go online, select the interpreter, whatever you want, and just execute in that particular interpreter. For example, if you want Python 2, just type Python 2 interpreter. If you want Python 3 interpreter, just type Python 3 interpreter, then test the code in that. Now we will see what is the logical error. I write a code to accept two numbers from the user and check which one is greater and print that number. So I will use two variables n1 and n2. So n1 is equal to int enter first number. I'll copy paste the code, copy paste, and just make the changes. Okay, now I will just compare the numbers. For that we are using if statement. If n1 is greater than n2, if n1 is greater than n2, it should print which is greater, n1, but I am printing n2. Will it show any syntax error? Let's see. I just go to file, save the program, go to run the program. Just give the number as 20, second number as 10. So what should be the output? The greater is 20, it should print 20, right? It's printing 10. But it did not show any syntax error. The problem is incorrect logic. Our logic is incorrect. Such types of errors are called as logical error. Now let's see the textbook definition of logical error. The logical error occurs when the code runs without any syntax error but produces wrong output. They're also called as bugs. So if your relative or friends, anyone is working in IT companies and all, you might have heard about this word bugs. So bugs are nothing but logical errors mainly. So have you heard about the word debugging? Means you're finding the bug. Finding and correcting the bug is called as actually debugging. So what example is given here? So A is given the value 10, B is given the value 5. If A is greater, it should print actually A, but we are printing B. So it's showing the output as B is greater. So that is a logical mistakes. So what is the logic here? When A and B are compared, if A is greater, it should print A, B is greater, it should print B. But it is not printing that. It is printing a wrong output. Now let's discuss what is runtime error. Okay, I will modify the same example. So we have actually accepted two numbers from the user. So I write diff is equal to n1 divided by en2. What we are doing? We are dividing n1 by en2. Okay, and I'm going to print that result. So result is equal to diff. Okay, so let me save the program and run the program. I'll enter number as 12, second number as 6. So what will be the result? It will be 2. Okay, it shows correctly. Next time again I rerun the program. I give number as 12, the second number as 0. So what happens actually? A number cannot be divided by 0. That is not defined in mathematics, right? So Python interpreter cannot define any result. So it shows an error, that 0 division error. But the same program worked for another inputs. So there is no mistakes in our syntax and logic is also correct. Let me take another example. I will comment this program. I take an array. I'll just name it as L1. L1 is equal to 2, 20, 30, 40. Okay. There are 4 elements in the list. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is the index of 10? That is 0. Index of 20 is 1. Index of 30 is 2. Index of 40 is 3. Okay. Now the user has to enter the index. So index is equal to int input, enter the index. Okay, so we are going to display the element from the list at the particular index. So L1 of index. So if the user enter the index as 0, it will print 10. The user enter index as 3, it will print 40. Okay, so save the program, run the program. 0 will print 10, right? So again rerun the program. I use 3, will print 40. Now again I'll rerun the program. I just write the index as 7. Is there any element at index 7? No. So it print index error. But for all other previous inputs, the program worked fine. There is no syntax error. The logic is also correct, but it gives errors for some of the inputs. Okay, so what happens in between, the program flow is interrupted. Okay, so such types of errors which are detected only during the runtime of the program are called as runtime error. Now let's see the textbook definition for runtime error. So runtime error occurs when a program is executing and encounters an unexpected condition that prevents it from continuing. So program is being executed, okay, but in between it finds some unexpected condition that will just break the flow of execution. Okay, now what example is given? N1 is assigned the value 10, N2 is assigned the value 0. So we are writing S is equal to N1 divided by N2. So in this case N2 is 0. So we cannot divide a number by 0. shows zero deviation error. So I hope the error is clear to everybody. So if error is clear, we can go for exception. Without understanding error, we cannot start with exception topic.